Help me!
Long live the king.
Scar ate Mufasa in cold blood, and I have proof! We all knew Scar was cold-blooded, but no one expected he might have literally sunk his teeth into his own brother. You think you know the Lion King? You think you've seen it all? The heartbreak? The betrayal? The redemption arc? Think again. Because buried beneath the familiar story of Simba's rise to greatness is a disturbing theory that's been gnawing at fans for years. What if Scar didn't just kill Mufasa? What if he ate him? Yeah, you read that right. But the most terrifying part of all this? Disney might have quietly confirmed it, and you didn't even notice. But before we dig deeper, let's take a trip down memory lane to the death of a great king. The death of Mufasa is one of the most iconic and traumatic scenes in Disney history. It's nearly impossible to watch that scene without shedding a tear. Simba caught in the middle of a wildebeest stampede, Mufasa leaping into the chaos to save him. He does, but barely. Mufasa climbs a cliff face and calls out to Scar, his brother, his last hope. Scar looks down, grabs his paws, and whispers coldly, "Long live the king." Then he throws him to his death. The fall kills him. Mufasa's body is left in the gorge. Simba finds him, nudges him, cries beside him. But here's the thing nobody talks about.
Dad? Dad, come on. You gotta get up. Dad, we gotta go home.
What happened to Mufasa's body afterward? That scene cuts to Simba running off, manipulated by Scar into exile. The next time we see the gorge, it's empty. The body is gone. Gone where? Now your first thought might be, well, the hyenas probably ate him. And honestly, that's not far-fetched. Hyenas are nature's cleanup crew. Scavengers by profession, they'll eat just about anything with a pulse, or without one. But here's the problem. And it's a big one. Scar didn't exactly leave the hyenas unsupervised. Remember how Scar treated them? Like disposable minions. Sure, they followed his orders, but he never truly respected them. In fact, he used them, manipulated them, threatened them. He gave them just enough scraps to stay loyal, but not enough to rise. Even during the Be Prepared number, it's clear Scar sees them as pawns, not partners. So now ask yourself, would Scar really give the body of the king, his own brother, to a pack of dim-witted idiots he can barely tolerate? Seems out of character. And here's another thing. Hyenas are messy eaters. If they had consumed Mufasa, we'd expect to see some aftermath. Bones, blood, torn remains. But when Simba returns to that gorge after being guilt-tripped by Scar, what do we see? Nothing. Clean slate, like the king was swallowed by the earth, or by something else. You see, Scar was left alone in that gorge with the lifeless body of the king, his sworn rival, the symbol of everything he hated. He had a motive, he had an opportunity, and no one was watching. It's the perfect setup for something grim to go down. Did Scar let them feast on Mufasa, his brother? The very lion he hated, envied, and ultimately killed? Maybe. But here's a wild twist from the official Disney series The Lion Guard. In Season 3 of The Lion Guard, a spin-off series that takes place between the original Lion King and Simba's pride, there's a moment so small and unassuming that most casual fans miss it. But hardcore fans? They caught it. And it sent shivers down their spines. In the episode titled The Lion Guard, The Rise of Scar, Scar in a fiery spirit form speaks to a villainous lion named Makucha. During a particular scene, a lion's skull is shown, and it's strongly implied to be Mufasa's skull. But wait, isn't that a reach? Well, let's rewind. In the original Lion King, there's a disturbing scene where Scar is lounging in his cave, talking to Zazu. He picks up a skull and plays with it absent-mindedly, even mockingly. Take a closer look at that skull. It's a lion skull, and Scar is talking about Mufasa while holding it. Coincidence? Or something darker? Okay, pause for a second. Let's step outside the Disney world and into real-life biology. Do lions eat other lions? Surprisingly, yes. While it's not common, it does happen. Male lions have been known to kill and eat cubs that aren't their own, and in desperate situations they may scavenge from the dead, even if the dead are fellow lions. So Scar eating Mufasa? It's not biologically impossible. In fact, if Scar was hungry enough, power mad enough, or just plain deranged, who's to say he didn't do it? Especially when there's no funeral, no burial, no remains, just disappearance. And Scar ends up ruling Pride Rock with a smug, full-bellied grin.
Yet out of the ashes of this tragedy, we shall rise to greet the dawning of a new era, in which lion and hyena come together.
Let's go back to that skull again. Fans have dissected that frame for years. The shape of the skull matches a lion's. It's not a wildebeest, not a zebra, not a warthog. And here's the creepy part. Scar doesn't just toy with the skull. He stares at it, almost fondly, like it means something more. Scar is playing with the skull while gloating. It's the only scene in the movie that has such a symbol of death. And Disney doesn't just do things by accident. This is the same studio that hid adult jokes in plain sight and crafted visual metaphors that only reveal themselves after the 10th rewatch. They know exactly what they're doing when they frame a shot, and that skull was framed front and center. Remember, Mufasa's death wasn't just a plot point. It was a defining moment in Simba's life. The loss of a great king, the foundation of his entire emotional arc. So wouldn't Disney show us a proper end to the king? A burial? A moment of remembrance? Nope. All we get is that skull. But that's not all. Let's talk about the circle of life for a moment. In The Lion King, we're told, when we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass, and so we are all connected in the great circle of life. But let's be real, Mufasa didn't become grass. He became missing. The circle of life might work in theory, but in practice, someone had to consume that body. Nature doesn't waste meat like that. If it wasn't the hyenas and there's no trace of him ever found, we're left with Scar, alone with the body. And a lifetime of jealousy. It's poetic, in a twisted way. Scar couldn't be king until he took Mufasa's life. And maybe, just maybe, he didn't stop there. This theory didn't just come out of nowhere. It's been lingering in Reddit threads, YouTube essays, and fan forums for years. Why? Because it makes Scar even darker than we imagined. He's not just a traitor. He's not just a murderer. He might be a cannibal. And that adds a layer of horror to a story we all thought we knew. It forces us to rethink Scar's smirk, his speech, and even his death. And isn't that what makes The Lion King so powerful? That under the dazzling animation and catchy songs lies a much darker story? So, could it really be true? Let's be fair. There is no official confirmation from Disney that Scar ate Mufasa. But the clues are there. The missing body, the lion skull, Scar's proximity to the corpse, the real-life behavior of lions, the symbolism. Put them together and you have a haunting possibility. Maybe Scar didn't just kill the king, maybe he consumed him, and if that's true, then Scar wasn't just the villain of The Lion King, he was its monster. If you ever watch that gorge scene, and Scar says, "Long live the king," remember this, he may have meant it more literally than we ever imagined.